Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today, we got a full panel. We got Kim, and we got Jamani, and we got Chris. And we shall be discussing the hopefully FX limited series, The Patients. The story's been told. And it was a journey. Let's say that. But let's get into it. What we learned, what we liked, what we didn't like. Yeah. And why, really? Hashtag daddy issues. Let's get started. Let's get to Chris. Chris, what did you think of this dramatic journey?
Overall, I liked it. It was slow at a lot of points, but overall, I thought it was cool. The ending was kind of underwhelming for me a little bit, and I would say that the acting was great. Obviously, you got two heavy hitters, like between Gleason and Steve Carell, those two starring in this. That's a big deal. Gleason just came out. I think he won all kinds of like different Irish UK awards and whatnot. So it's hard for me to not look at him and not still think of Harry Potter when I see him and think of like him playing Bill Weasley. I kept saying, I was like, that's Weasley with the red hair. That's Weasley. You know what I mean? But no, they're both they both killed it in the role. The problem is just the story is just very too slow, and the whole thing with Ezra and his father, it just a lot of it I felt was kind of unnecessary. I know what they were trying to do. It just wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't hitting, man. It just wasn't hitting. At least not with me. At least for some of the plot. But again, Carell and Gleason's performance, I think actually saved the show. I think if you would have had any other actor, just like whoever, like one of the people we probably review in like shows like The Chi or anything on Stars, this show would have been utter complete shit. But it wasn't because of the actors we have.
Bryan Cranston, sir. Bryan Cranston would have made this happen.
No, I said The Chi and the Stars.
Yeah, I'm saying you would want you in the whole channel. That's fucked up. Huh? I thought you could say. I thought you put Showtime in the same category. Excuse me.
No, I said The Chi. That's why I said The Chi. I was careful what I said.
Okay, my bad.
Now the Stars, however, name somebody from Stars.
Joseph Sikora.
Exactly. Too late.
Tommy could have brought it. He would have been slobbering, but he would have brought it.
But I think one of you guys said this off cam about the whole thing. Like you see this with a lot of like movies that are based off of therapists and whatnot. They always do this whole trope where it's like it's them that needs the therapy or whatnot. So we kind of seen this before. Obviously, Sopranos has a big thing with it, and Tony's therapist actually sees a therapist. Ironically, what I mean? So, and she ironically has issues with her son, in that show. So, but yeah, overall, I thought it was a good show. Not a great show, just a good show, which with I would say an underwhelming ending, in my opinion.
Kim, please. What'd you think?
Acting was superb. I enjoyed Charlie. I enjoyed Alan, Ezra, Mom, Beth. I enjoyed Sam. All the actors were pretty good. Claudia was okay, like the mom. She was okay. But everybody else, the acting was really good, but this was a shit script. So it was a lot to sit through and watch back to back. And what I noticed, and I had heard this from another recapper who kind of pinpointed, the first 3 episodes were like really short, but then as it goes on, the episodes get longer, which wasn't a good idea, because if you would have kept it short, my attention span would have been longer, right? Because I was like, I did a whole bunch. I walked my dogs in the middle of the night to make myself wake up because I was falling asleep watching this damn thing. It was hard. When I got to like the endings, like almost, I was like, Jesus, can we just end it? Like it was too much. It was too much of all this extra stuff. Now I understand what they were trying to show us is that the patient was Alan, right? Alan was a patient just as well as Sam was a patient, right? But it was like it was so much that was going on in Alan's head, and I got that process that they wanted to show us that. But I mean, God help us. It was just too long and too drawn out, and I just wanted to scream. And then the ending was it was predictable. We knew there was no way he could let this man go, right? So we knew that Alan was gonna eventually pass. So I was like, what? And then the end with which I didn't get it. Maybe you guys understand it. You mean to tell me that the mother's gonna go along with having her son chained in the basement? This bitch didn't have the strength to be like, you know what, my son is mentally ill. He is killing people. Let me call the cops and take this. You know what? I am a mother of two men. If either one of my sons were like, I'm killing people, and they show me I'm killing people, and I'm like, I've seen you do it. I love them dearly. I love them with all my heart. But guess where you gotta go? You gotta go to the police station.
Well,
you're going to jail. I'm sorry. You cannot protect a murderer, because think about it. If he can murder other people, he damn sure can murder you.
Right.
No matter how much he loves you.
I agree, but I felt that kind of realistic. You see that in cases though too, where
you do see it in cases. Like, it doesn't make it right, Chris. It does not make it right.
I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying it was realistic.
That's what I'm saying. But they're like, it happens.
And I'm not trying to say that it's unrealistic what she did. It is realistic, like you said, it does happen. Yeah. But how do those normally end? The mother ends up being dead, or the whole family ends up being dead. Or
they go in jail, like
they go to jail as accomplices, because they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was happening in my house for fucking years.
Exactly, because you don't want to take ownership of the fact that you have a mentally ill child. Just because you have a mentally ill child doesn't make you a bad parent. It happens. Mental illness happens in families all the time. It doesn't make you a bad parent, and that's the problem. Parents they don't want people to see their dirty laundry and then blame it on them. Kind of like what happened with Dahmer, right? Everybody's blaming the father, the mother, and stuff like that. And they cared about that. So they were like, no, we're just gonna go ahead and see what happens and let him continue to be batshit crazy. And then guess what? Now he's a serial killer. So when you could have nipped this in the bud where he hadn't killed anybody, you were like, no, we don't want everybody to know that he's, a little off. We want to keep it in the family. We can work with him. You cannot work with every child, or adult. Sometimes you got to turn him in. So you mean to tell me now she's going to go ahead and give him his breakfast and stuff in the basement, keep him chained up? This is unrealistic.
Yeah.
That is dumb.
That's not unrealistic.
You think this is a realistic that he is going to give his mother.
I can see a single mother. I can see a single mother who has what's the nickname they call it, a son husband, as they call him. Who
I know
lives
the name for that.
Yeah. There's a term for that, where it's like they live and die with it.
No, I get that part. I get that part. I know what you're saying, but eventually, what's going to happen is what Alan did to her. Remember, Alan pulled that tissue bag and grabbed her. That is what Sam is going to do, and he's going to kill his mother eventually. Yeah. And she's got to know that. She's got to know it. But maybe because her self-esteem and everything is so torn down, which we see that, right? And she's never actually helped that boy. When her husband was beating the shit out of her child, she did not stand up and protect him. That is what a mother's supposed to do. You can get your ass whooped and almost killed. And it's happened to me, and I will damn near die to protect my kid. Period. End of story. If I'm not dead, you might as well kill me, because if you hit my kid, the way he was hitting that boy, you're gonna die. I'm eventually gonna stab you in the throat, right? So that woman owes it to Sam to tell the police what's going on. She does. So anyway, that's what pissed me off, and the show was too long. And it got on my goddamn nerves, but the acting was superb. Steve Carell was phenomenal in this role. And I understand all the Jewish references and all the different things. I learned more. I had Jewish babysitters, and I learned all this when I was a kid. but I learned even more. And I thought that that was pretty cool to get into, to something that we normally don't see. We don't normally see like their traditions and, like how they, after dinner, they sing songs and things like that. That's wonderful. I thought it was nice, but I just thought it was too long. It was too much and it was boring. Okay, rant over.
Thank you. Jumani, you have the floor, sir. What did you think of this series?
To Kim's point about it starting off slower and getting longer, it was all like a psychological trick. Like you're supposed to have the sense of like, being there and it being a long time. I think like all of you guys watched it, like binge watched it, as opposed to like, I think I was like the only person who watched it weekly when it came out. So it was very different. I had a different pace to it, and I saw it very differently than the way that you guys saw it, because it was very bite-sized, and then it like you'd have like one thing of whether it's action or intrigue, and then you gotta wait till next week, and then you go on with your life. It wasn't like there was another episode with some more convoluted flashbacks and mental therapy with David Alan Grier's character and stuff. That would definitely make it seem a lot longer than it is and make the show seem like Guantanamo Bay torture at that point. But I guess even in that sense, you kind of still feel like you're in that Steve Carell space of being prisoner and going crazy, with the monotony of it all. So I thought it was good. I thought that the ending sucked, like bad. I thought it was, and I was like, the most amount of action that was in the show was the dumpster choking. Every time any other action happened, they just cut away. And I'm like, in the actual end, when they, when Steve Carell caught it, they cut away totally. And, he's going and talking to his grandkid and make you think that he survived. He's like, I'll tell you, in 10 years what happened. I'm like, I don't know why they had to, like, it's not network TV or something. You could have shown a little more violence.
Anything else?
And to what you guys were saying before about the pissing, like there was a lot of that, but I wanted to know the inverse of that. Of Steve, you see the guy come home, he's pissing all the time, right? But Steve Carell is chained to the bed and can't reach the bathroom. So they never kind of explained what the bathroom protocol was for him.
No, they did. They did. Like,
they had the urinal thing.
He had the urinal cup, and he actually used it a couple of times. Like he also
had
went
the
to the
little
corner
seat thing where you shit in it.
He didn't shit. Like I was like, I wanted.
Well, no, they didn't show him shit.
I wanted commitment. As many times if I saw that pissing, as many times as I saw the unnecessary, I just one time I want him to be like, that spicy Indian food got to me. And it's like, I need some toilet paper.
We outnumber you, David. We outnumber you.
I was like, commit. Commit, damn it.
This is Steve Carell, okay?
You don't have to show. You can just reference it.
Just be like, I'm like, hey, can I get some more Charmin down here? Because it's just me in this bucket. And or him taking away the bucket. Like, who took care of the bucket? Like, he couldn't do that.
It was Sam, always.
Yeah. So I was like, Jumani, anything else? I'm sorry.
He never washed his hands. That really annoyed me. Never once did he ever see him wash his hands. He's a food.
Say again. What?
I said he never washed his hands after going to the bathroom once, and he's a food.
He couldn't.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's good. Yeah, no, he couldn't. Yeah. I mean, he didn't get a wet nap. What to your point? He can get some wet naps or some shit. But like, he should have thought about that. That's a good point.
No, I'm saying the actual patient. Like whenever
Oh,
He was
Sam.
always in the bathroom. That's not fair. I mean, the door was always closed. We just heard him piss. Like the only time we saw him piss.
No,
was
I'm
when he
saying
was
you
at his dad's
hear him
house.
piss, but you never heard him run the faucet afterwards. You just
All right, I give you that. All right, and there was a lot.
Right
It was a
out.
lot. It was a lot of pissing. It was a lot of pissing.
When I was at the airport, trust me, there's a lot of people who don't wash their hands. And it was 100 people in that bathroom. And they was walking right past me in line. I was like, oh, okay, that's how we do?
No, Chris. I saw your face.
Why? Huh?
I thought you were about to say something. We already had this conversation.
Why'd you say why you call me out? Well,
I saw your face,
Chris
and I was like,
No
I thought you were
Chris
gonna be
West.
like, you know what I'm saying? What's up,
No.
y'all? Hey, Brillo,
See
what's
that,
going
Kim?
on?
See,
It's been a while.
all I was gonna say is that wasn't culture. That's all I was gonna say. That's all I was gonna say.
Jamani, anything besides the pissing? Anything else?
At least this series, it wasn't it. It was mommy. The mother was a contributor, but at least it was father issues instead of mother issues. Is typical.
No, there was mother issues too, because she's an enabler.
Yeah, I know.
But
I understand that, but I'm saying at least this show took the approach of blaming the majority
dad.
of it on the dad.
Yeah. I can see that.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Yeah.
I thought we all see it differently. I think we all agree. This part, it should have been a movie. This should not have been a TV show. This is another example of them taking a great movie idea and stretching this shit out and unnecessarily. And that irritated the fuck out of me. Like the first 2 episodes, I was like, I'm gonna wait till this shit's over because it was a play to me. It was in every episode was a different act, but it was a play. And I was like, okay, so let me wait for the play to be over and then I'll watch it all. I also felt it was false advertisement. It's called The Patient. So I'm thinking I'm going to watch Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm going to watch John Wayne Gacy. And they, for some reason, had a therapist as they're going through their serial killer shit. And something like that, like The Sopranos. The Sopranos was about a gangster who happened to go to therapy, not a therapist who has a gangster client. Like that's a different show. So you see the gangster shit, and then he stops by and goes to the therapist. I thought that was gonna happen, but I was like, it should have been called The Therapist. I feel like if the show would have been called The Therapist, then we know that Steve Carell is the focus, and everything is about him, how he perceives it.
I think no, but he was. I think that was the whole point of it. Even when you look at like the behind the scenes stuff, is that he is the patient. That's the whole play on words thing. Is that he was the patient? I okay. Well, I think because
I thought that too. I felt like Steve Carell became the patient.
Yeah, he was the patient. He was the patient. Like he understood. You know what I mean?
That's what.
But he also was his own therapist. Like to the
sure,
point of,
but it
not
was
not only was he the therapist to Sam, but at some point he made Charlie, and he was his own therapist. He worked his own self through his own issues, and actually he did that first before he was able to help Sam. So I'm like,
but it was more. What was more the point as far as Steve Carell's character? It was like him trying to find the actual result of what happened, and him kind of having the resolution. I think that was more stronger of him being the patient than it was of him being the therapist. You see what I'm saying?
Anyway, okay, we disagree. I see. I'm just saying for what they said and how they advertised it, I was looking for a serial killer going to therapy, and that's not what we got. And even his first murder was from Alan's point of view. It was how he was reacting to the murder, not how Sam was murdering this dude. So I'm like, this is about Alan. So I'm like, oh okay. Again, it could have been a movie. It could have been the first 3 episodes, the last 2 episodes, and they could have merged that shit and cut everything out in the middle.
Yep, 2-hour movie. If you got to stretch it 2.5.
If that, I'm thinking a good hour and a half, and we could have been done. Because to your point, weeks and weeks of this show makes you feel like he's been down there for weeks and weeks. It's been 3 days. That is it. It's been 3 days. So I'm like, this is feeling like a month of captivity.
Wait a minute. It's been 3 days.
It's been 3 days.
How did you figure that out?
It's said in the last episode. It's like this has been the longest 3 days of my life.
That ain't no 3 days.
Because his son and the son and the daughter have been looking for him.
Yeah, I was about to say they put up one poster after just a couple of days. Come
Actually,
on,
that's not actually issue because that 48 hours is when you start looking for people. So that
Bruh.
don't mean shit.
bro. He ain't no 80-year-old senior citizen with Alzheimer's here.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
you,
know. I think it's
I
more
have
than
he is not
only
gonna put no
48
damn
hours.
thing
You
off of.
show me anything else.
Oh,
He
wait,
is
okay.
not
You
going
know
to
why?
put-
Oh, I know why, Chris. This is why I know. Let me tell you why I know. His medicine. He ran out of his medicine.
All right.
The pills.
Yeah, it
Pills.
does.
And his foot
Yeah.
cream, which I thought was gross. But his foot cream, remember? The foot cream
What was
Mhm.
was filled up when he
at
first
some point?
started.
At some point, he says it's been the longest 3 days that I've been. It's been a long 3 days. Why did Steve Carell say that?
He said that
I
because
don't
he
remember
said
that. I'm
after the
gonna have to-
killing.
I'm gonna
When
see what
he-
episode that was when he said it.
But that was when he killed when Sam killed oh gosh, what's the guy's name?
Exactly. The boss of the guy Ezra. The guy
Exactly
he.
who?
You mean the guy he met? I'm talking about
Elias.
All right.
When
Okay.
he killed Elias, it's been a long it was a long 3 days because remember he talked him out of killing him. The guy
All right.
was like talking to him.
Okay.
Then it was
That
what
was
he
just
talking
3 days for that guy
Okay.
that was in the
Okay.
closet.
Yeah.
about. Yeah, him.
Yeah, it
That's
was 3 days
That's
for
what I'm talking about.
him. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I give you that. I'm
Okay.
saying, but by then he should have been on TV. It's been weeks, right? Like at some point, like his daughter, the one who actually gave a fuck about him, he's been advertised, see on TV. Someone's looking for him. The fact that he's a wannabe serial killer, which I forgot because they never got back to that. They should have showed some kind of cop. If this was a serial killer show, they would have had the cops to be like the pickpocket killer, whatever the fuck his name was like has done this for a while, and then he could see that. But I'm like, I totally forgot his MO. Like he used to break into people's houses and kill them, right, and then take their wallets or some shit. Like
he was called him the John Doe killer.
Yeah,
But
John
that
Doe.
and it wasn't. But that's true. He wasn't. Well, they didn't show it. They should have showed it that the John Doe killer is still killing, and now such and such, like Alan has disappeared. They didn't do any of that.
But the
I'm
MO
sure it was
changed
probably
though.
happening, but they didn't show it.
and that didn't make any sense that the MO changed. And I'm saying, so again, once again, it's not about fucking Sam. This is about Alan. Like, Sam just
Yeah,
happened
who is also the patient.
this easily for what they achieved. For what they achieved of a father who thought his son was against him, but it turned out he realized that he was the problem. He easily could have been stuck in a cave somewhere and did this whole shit by himself. Sam was unnecessary. Like for his character, for his change and his arc, he easily could have came to his resolution by himself.
Yeah.
Son Ezra did the same thing. He made by himself. He realized that he should have been more not orthodox or some shit. Like what
It made more sense with Ezra. It made more sense to Ezra because with Ezra, at least it's like one of those things, like just like the whole typical saying, like you never know, like you never know what you miss until it's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it made sense for him, but I guess my confusion about all this was with Alan realized like I'm the problem, but all the flashbacks showed, at least the flashbacks I remember seeing, it shows that he was like just kind of stuck in the middle between his wife and her son. It wasn't like he was being a bad guy.
He
like
wasn't.
as he, if anything, it was just really weird. It seemed like both his wife and his son were both the Karens. They were both being Karens.
If you will.
He was a good. So it was weird how they made it seem like he made it seem like I'm the problem. Nah, bro. Like you didn't want to piss off. Like no, you know what I mean. You were just the middle guy. That's all you were. You know what I mean? That's all you were. You weren't the one trying to give the kids cupcakes. You weren't trying to do like, oh, I'm giving cupcake. You weren't the one that was like trying to like stir up the pot and be like, oh, I'm going to be the one playing music, playing the guitar at my son's wedding. You weren't doing none of that. Like, you know what I mean? But you also were exchanging looks at your son, being like, it's okay. Like, I love you. Like, you know what I mean? He was showing all the stuff. That's why it was just weird to me. That was the thing that was weird to me, where he just was like, I'm the problem. I'm like, no, what you need to do is resurrect Beth for her to realize that she was the issue.
But the reason why is in Jewish culture, the husband runs the household. So whatever Beth was doing, he should have stopped Beth from doing it. If you remember when she was singing in the church. Well, not the church.
The synagogue.
Yeah, the synagogue,
Yeah.
right. She was singing in the synagogue,
Yeah, the
and everybody was, remember that it was at the wedding. I'm sorry, at the wedding. And she was singing, and all the men were getting up and leaving.
Yeah.
And even the rabbi said, we don't normally have women sing. And that is because in their culture, women are not leaders. They do everything their husband tells them to do. They do not talk back. It's not an argument or anything. And what Alan was trying to say was he should have stepped in with Beth and been like, no, Beth, Ezra does not want this for his children. You need to stop this from happening.
That one to stop.
No, I'm just saying that's where Alan's guilt is coming from, because he is the man, the leader of the household. He didn't run his household that way. He let Beth be who she was because he liked that she.
But they weren't. They also weren't that type of Jew either.
Well,
they were different. They were Orthodox,
right? But Orthodox Jews are completely different than just regular Jews, right? But I'm still saying that even if you're not Orthodox, it does not mean Jewish men do not run their household. Orthodox Jews are like really like you can't have to wear a wig, you have to cover yourself and all that. Alan's a regular Jewish man, but still in their culture, he still is the leader of the house. It's like black men should be the leader of their house, right? But that's where Alan's guilt is coming from. He never stepped in and told Beth, maybe this is a little too much, you know?
I guess. I look at it as like he was just scared shitless of saying something to her. I think that's what it was. It was just more of like, yo,
because because he liked his relationship with his wife. He enjoyed her.
He didn't want to get divorced. He didn't want to get
sounds like House, which got tiring after its fourth season. Not all Jewish sects are like that. I mean, true. That's a whole thing. Like, I felt like this should have called the Jewish therapist because it was a lot. Like, I mean, I need to be prepared for the journey because we went to fucking like Auschwitz and stuff, and I'm like, what? And I was like, what is happening? But anyway, to the family dynamics, right? It really irritated the fuck out of me how much he focused so much on Ezra and did not give a fuck about his daughter. Like, every time he opened his mouth, it was, my wife is dead and my son treats me like shit. My wife is dead and my son treats me like shit. I'm like, your daughter is the only one that stood by your wife when she was dying, because that kept on being his thing. But he turned his back on our family, which showed his son to be a piece of shit. As far as I don't give a fuck what the relationship was. But it just
he was cool with his daughter. His daughter, there was no need for him to have a therapy thing about his daughter, because again, his daughter was like as he mentioned, he was like, yo, his daughter is like, my daughter came into my footsteps, and she's a therapist basically, right? As well. Like, basically, and she is that, and she literally she made it seem like she's like kind of a mirror of him, in the sense of like they're just trying to keep the peace, right? So why would you talk about, just in if you take therapy at all, why would you talk about people that don't give you any issues? No, that's not what you do. You talk about things that are bothering you so you can confront those issues. When the daughter was not the issue. When the daughter, like, for him, the issue was his wife and his son.
When he talks about why he needs to get out, like, what is he trying to get to? It's not even my daughter, who's probably
it was to apologize to his son.
It was all about his fucking son. Even at the end of the episode, the son
was because he had regrets about his son.
Exactly.
Like, he about to die.
He don't want to live like this.
Yeah.
You acknowledge the woman who fucking was there with your wife, who was the one looking out for you, looking for you. Like, I'm saying, I did
acknowledge her.
He did. Yeah, he had a whole long thing about her just by itself.
He had a paragraph. The rest of that shit was about Ezra. The rest of that shit was
how I messed up with you. Yeah. The whole thing with him, the long thing was about how I screwed up.
How many flashbacks did you get of the daughter? How many flashbacks did you get with him hanging out with his daughter, spend time with his daughter?
But because he was an issue. Again, he is the patient.
He wasn't,
and his issue wasn't with his daughter.
It wasn't.
He wasn't in there. When he's sitting there, just being like, hey, what my life was when I'm not here, when I'm not trapped. He could have been. He had happy things about his daughter, about his wife. Excuse me. He had happy times with his son. Like, not once was he like, hey, it was two kids. I'm just like,
but you didn't even really see the flashbacks of him having really happy moments with his son, which is the point. If that was the case, then they would have shown. To your point, I would. To your point, I would be on your side if they would have showed a bunch of happy moments with Ezra, but they didn't. See, because then I would have been like, oh, they show happy moments with Ezra. Why don't they show happy moments with his daughter? But the fact is, they did not. It was showing he had all this built up thing about like all this damn, his wife did not go out the way that he wanted, and he blames it all on his son. Like, you know what I mean? It's all his fault why I'm having all of this guilt. No, it's not like he felt like if I died today, my daughter, like I felt like I did my daughter's justice, and my daughter will actually know that I'm, like I loved her. There's no doubt in her mind that I loved her. My son, on the other hand, as he saw at that dinner table with the cupcakes, like thinking like my parents don't give a shit. Like, oh, you gave her $40,000 and you give me $1,000, and the donation was just $1,000 and whatnot. All this other stuff. The issue there was no issue with her, but there's always issues with him. All the flashbacks was always only issues with him.
That's not true. That's not true because
what are you talking about? When he was like a little kid, maybe? Is that
there were times I'm saying, but even with that, I'm saying like as much, even at the end of therapy, it's the son who's in therapy. Like I'm saying, it's the son who's like, I need to understand my dad. Like the daughter was the one.
Maybe the daughter should be his therapist. That'd be kind of weird though.
And that would be.
No, that would be weird. No, that wouldn't work.
I'm saying I'm saying to have them both in therapy or something to acknowledge that they both lost. I'm just saying I forgot he even had a daughter, but I'm like, no, he has a daughter. Like, I mean, like she's probably the only one. The reason why those pamphlets, those flyers even went up. It was probably her who realized that he wasn't around. It was probably her who went to the fucking brother and be like, hey, dad's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like she should have been more relevant in the show. Also, I think fucking Sam. To bring the therapy, he should have shared his issues. As much as he was hearing daddy issues from fucking Sam, Alan should have been like, I got my own fucking daddy issues, my own issues with my son. And fucking Sam should have went out there, misguided as it is, and fucking kidnapped either the son that brought him there. And being like, you got daddy issues too. And that kind of would have made this whole, like, made Sam relevant. And then I think that would have been a better ending to be like, now we're going to work this out or some silly shit. But to be like, to kind of bring that together instead of his boss, which didn't mean shit, the fucking guy who owned the restaurant, which didn't mean shit. Like, that's
how he should have been caught. His boss, like they found his body. This is modern day. There's cameras everywhere. That's how like the vision that Steve Carell had of a SWAT coming through the door.
Yeah.
They should have came because of that.
Because
that
of that.
Anything like, yeah.
So Jamani, I'm sorry. What you got?
I think that it's more or less if you go try to do it chronologically. What's David Alan Grier's character's name? Charlie died, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he never finished his therapy with Charlie,
right,
on resolving his issues with his son.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's in a position of imminent death, and he's dealing with the patient, and he's like, will I be able to resolve his issues before I die? And he's trying to work through his issues that he didn't resolve with Charlie so that he can try to resolve the issues that Sam has before he dies.
So, yeah. So, I mean, everybody was working out their issues, and it's all some kind of...
Which is kind of like why you kind of see the son, like, at therapy at the end, I assume. I don't...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, and it's like, so now he's his daddy, so he's trying to work that. And this all comes to daddy issues. Ultimately, Sam's issue was his daddy. Yeah. Fucking Alan's issue is his Ezra's issue. And then fucking Ezra has some random ass scene with his son because of the cookies or whatever the fuck. I didn't even get that. But like that.
Because when Ezra realized like his dad disappeared, right? So he's like grieving the fact that he doesn't know where his father's at, right? And so I feel like what they were trying to show is that Ezra was like, in the grand scheme of things, the cookies, and they were tiny little things that happened that were not even relevant. My dad is gone. Like, I don't even know where he is. I would rather have my dad in my life right now. Like, I would love to just hug him and tell him that I'm sorry about what happened, right, between us or whatever. And then he also just let his shield down by the cookies and the candy is not going to hurt these kids. Like, what Beth was doing was just trying to have the kids have like treats like normal kids, right? Because Jewish kids have a kosher candy, they have kosher cookies, right? And so that's what Beth was just trying to treat them like, regular grandchildren, right? Because Jewish people, even though her son was Orthodox, it's a different sect. It is. Yeah. She was trying to do it in just regular Jewish way, right? So Ezra was like, you're not respecting my Orthodox Jew,
I feel you.
So-
No, I'm talking about. So
Wait.
I'm talking about so when Ezra comes home, like again, like so, like when they both have their epiphany moments,
Their
right?
moments,
So like,
right.
so Alan realizes that he was the problem. He didn't appreciate his son. Son is like, I was too strict. I understand the candy. He puts the stuff on the table. He couldn't open the thing. The son stands up. So I'm thinking he's gonna help him like open the thing, right? But instead they just go to the room and they're just sitting on the bed and they don't say shit. And I'm like, why are you staring at the bed? Like what is going on here? Like I don't remember Ezra having a problem with his son. That they're just sitting there.
It's because his grandpa's missing. Like I mean, we all
he
know
was sad about his
grandpa. You know what I mean? And I think they could. That's the thing too. Like kids can sense shit like that. Like especially if you're talking about, and especially because the oldest son. It didn't look like it was that far off as far as the year. Like it probably wasn't even a year. Like, or well, I guess it was last year when his wife
It
died.
could have been that he was missing the grandmother too. Like the grandma used to give him candy and cookies.
Yeah. It's like because
went back in his head.
I gotta tell you, I remember a shitload of like a lot of stuff my grandma used to give me when I was like a little kid. You know what I mean? And then just like. I mean, now that she's gone, like sometimes, like when I get that, it just reminds me of like when I was like a little kid. I'm like, damn, my grandma used to give me little patties,
and like that. So that like that they should have put some words into the scene. Like I need to like
I agree with that. They should have fished it out better.
Yeah, because I'm like,
exactly what was
I'm like, what? This is a Jewish thing? Y'all just sitting there?
No. It wasn't a Jewish thing. It was just. I think it was just.
I didn't know what the fuck. I was like, what does he do?
It was just memories. I take it as that the little boy was thinking. My grandma used to give us this. And now you know what I'm saying?
But grandma's been gone for a while. So I'm like, now grandpa's gone. And then we don't even get that. Like, again, daughter figures out daddy's gone.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking for him. She goes to the son. Does the son care at first? Or is he like, fuck it, and daddy and I are talking?
Yeah, they should have showed that and they did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then I'm like, okay, then we're all concerned. The most Jemani,
I think it was supposed to be like a surprise reveal. I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to do a surprise reveal of you seeing a wanted picture of him. I mean, like a missing thing, and then it pans back and you're assuming it's the daughter.
Yeah,
and it's him. I think that's what it was, and I feel like they probably, to your point, because I also agreed that they should have had a scene, but I think what I guess they were trying to do is like, well, no, let's not do the scene. We're just trying to show the slow reveal. But then it just felt, I guess, with them trying to do a surprise, which worked. What didn't work, it also kind of felt empty because we didn't get that scene. Maybe afterwards they could have done like a flashback, or I don't know. There's a lot of flashbacks in this. Maybe that one. There's too much flashbacks.
Yeah. I thought that was gonna be something. I actually.
What about the messaging
part? Was the stuff that really didn't happen, which was the cops coming through the door, which I thought was eventually gonna happen, but we kept on seeing those scenes. I was like, damn, like stop this shit. Because I'm thinking,
where was the restaurant? So we never found out where. Like, I wanted at least them show where he put that restaurant do that. Like he just said, "Oh, they ain't gonna find it." Oh, that's right. What he said he burned it, right, or something like that.
No, he just said they're not gonna find it. He said they
just ain't gonna find it.
Yeah. He didn't specify.
Damn it! So even us as the audience don't know shit.
Yes. It's Jemani, what's going on? Sorry.
Taking it way back to the whole like Jewish, like what Kim was saying about the women being more, I guess you say, docile or submissive in their culture. That's kind of like with the end, like I guess he was still doing his therapy all the way to the end, where instead of what he couldn't confront his actual wife about, he confronted Sam's mother about, because they kind of like, she just kind of like sat back or whatever, and she was like, well, it's your fault that he's this way and stuff like that, and putting like, you know, the blame on the reason Sam is the way that he is because she never was assertive, whereas his wife was always being assertive, and kind of broke down the relationship that he had with his son. He kind of confronted her and then, you know, put the thing to her neck, but he couldn't actually kill her, which is what actually killed him.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. I would be like, Kim, that was a good point that you said about the whole thing about the fact that he was supposed to be the leader and he wasn't man enough, and Jemani, I think, kind of said it there, right there, was like in the sense of he failed even at the very end. He failed by like not being a man, did not yell out to the ex-wife, to the whole thing. I mean, that wife was kind of weird too. I was like, I can see how y'all got married, but anyway, but like him not yelling up to that, or him not breaking that little thing and just try to stab him as he kept fantasizing about all this other shit. Even the restaurant dude was like, hey, you bring me into a session, and then and I do all this other crap. Yeah, jump him or not. I don't know how that dude was going to jump him being tied, worth all kinds of shit.
And blind, he didn't know. He said, "I'm gonna throw my body at him," but you can't see him.
Yeah.
You can't see the body.
You can't see. Shit. Yeah, but I can hear him. No, but I think that, and then even to the end, he threatened to kill his mother. And I'm sorry, bro, that mother would have to go. Be like, look, your mother look, she raised you. Obviously, she raised you wrong. She gonna go. I got these kids here who got grandkids. Nah. This mother going. And that's another problem I have with this show in a way. With the message, was this show trying to say that mothers are the root of issues? Because look at every mother that you see in the show, between Alan's mom. I mean, not Alan's mom, Alan's wife, like Beth, right? Candace, right? Like these mothers, like they kind of, if it wasn't for them being the way they were, or whatever, at least in the show, some of the shit wouldn't have happened.
Can't forget about Shoshana, because we could never hear enough about Shoshana.
Shoshana was a mom, but Shoshana was a different kind of mom than from what we could tell, right?
Shoshana seemed like she was pulling the strings in the marriage with the with the son.
So it's her problem too.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one, yeah.
Wait, Shoshana was pulling the strings with her husband?
Yeah, it seemed like she was the one that was really the most orthodox, and he was
if she was orthodox, she would have had a wig on, and she did not. She was just a regular Jewish woman.
Okay.
Wait. Are we
I thought Shoshana's the sister.
Shoshana's the sister.
Oh, you're talking about Ezra.
You're talking about Ezra's wife. Ezra's wife.
Oh, Ezra's wife. No, Ezra's wife was very cool. She was typical Orthodox wife. She's
quiet. Because when that mother went up with that guitar, she looked at her husband
like what the hell? Yeah.
And I'm like, why are y'all doing all these women like this? Why y'all making all these women look like Karens, except for the one that's supposed to be like a mirror of Steve Carell? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like
I disagree that the mom was the problem with Ezra. I disagree with that. She was.
I think she did not know.
Beth
was the problem. She did not respect.
Beth was the problem.
He was Orthodox Jew. That was the problem. She was wrong for that. The father was the middleman between them, and that was wrong too. It was the mom should have respected her son's decision to be Orthodox.
She overstepped. She
overstepped. Each and every time. But she also tried to embrace some of it because she wore the wig when she was around him, right?
Well, with that trip. We didn't see. Yeah.
She tried. She. That's the thing. You gotta go all in, or don't do it at all. Right.
I still the man not being there for his mom and she's dying is inexcusable. Like I can't for Alan to be like it was my fault. Like no. Like you said, at some point you got to put that shit aside and be like, mom's dying. Like I need to be there for that. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So him playing the guitar, to your point of how orthodox wife was. Everyone's singing together. Wife ain't doing shit. Like wife's got the book and she ain't saying a damn thing. And whoever the woman is next to her ain't saying shit either. So they're like, we ain't doing this, but y'all can sing the song. And I was like, and then he's playing the guitar. Like he's trying to be like, I understand my parent. Like he's trying to be his parent halfway, even though they weren't there. And I thought that him playing the guitar
was showing his mom, I forgive you.
Yeah. Like so she's trying to meet her in the middle.
Halfway.
Yeah, even though she's gone. Yeah. It's like I forgive you. Yeah.
No, I thought that was cool. I actually was to your point, kind of like Moon Knight. Like all the shit that's supposed to happen on camera happened off camera, but Steve Carell's death should have happened on camera. Did he truly try to cut her throat, or did he really couldn't do it just like Sam said he couldn't, and therefore
they couldn't do it.
No,
he's not because that's That didn't
Yeah.
look sharp enough to even make a throw. I don't know. I want. We need.
There
to
was
see
a
that.
little bit of blood on it, so
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, she had a nick. She definitely had a nick
Yeah,
there.
Nick, but that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't follow through though.
So I'm like, and they should have showed that. Like he did all that to be like murdered by serial killer. Like he's like, I want to die, and I need you to do it. I thought he was gonna cut his own throat. I thought he's like, I'm going out on my own terms, and I'm gonna commit suicide. But you can't do that in the Jewish religion. I think that's the whole thing.
Yo,
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you
go to
this.
hell.
This dude, this dude choking out everybody, right? I mean, I know he's a skinny little thing, whatever.
He is.
So
It takes
the way,
a lot
like,
of time too. It takes 7 to 8 minutes.
I was gonna say, I was like, damn, you gotta start watching Forensic Files, homie. Like,
Yes.
that's not like when you choke people like that. It takes some time. Like, I know he's like putting his whole thing. I'm sorry, you doing facial expressions like does not make it go faster.
No.
No, that's not how.
That's
That's not
That's
how
how
it
death
works.
works. That's
That's
how
not how
murder
respiration works. It's like if I do this face, that means you dead as fuck. Right?
And especially
So if
since you were up here, you were
Yeah.
clearly up here. So you
Yeah.
weren't hitting nothing right here.
Yeah.
Well, you know that might be
Okay.
the whole actor thing of not.
Yeah, I know,
I'm just joking.
no, you're right though. It don't,
Yeah,
it
but
don't
you're
look-
right. You're right.
It
Yeah.
don't look realistic. He is too small to be taking out down all
Yes.
these people. And then they just.
I'm
lay
like,
there.
dude.
I was like Power
I'm-
Book. I was like Power Book 3. You just laying there waiting for Kanan to whoop his ass. Like when dude just stood there and let Jukebox whoop his ass. I'm like, stop it.
Oh, you mean
I
Freddie?
really thought Steve.
Freddie?
I thought Steve Carell was playing like possum at first. I thought Steve Carell was playing possum.
Me
I was like,
too. Me
I was like,
too.
for a second, I was like, I thought he was gonna be like Doker, be like, surprise, motherfucker. And then,
But did you guys feel like I felt like at the towards the end of it, did you feel like Alan, when he started writing the notes to his daughter and to Ezra, that he was okay with dying?
oh yeah,
Like
of course.
he had already
Absolutely.
settled
Of course. Of
into-
course.
he's like, I ain't staying down here for 10 years. Like,
yeah, he was
Yeah,
like,
he's
like-
I'm-
it's like-
you gotta kill me.
Again, it was suicide by serial killer. Like he knew
Absolutely.
he knew he wasn't gonna work out, but he's
Right.
like, I'm gonna try to. But
He
again,
knew he was gonna punk out because he couldn't. The time he was needed to do it was when the ex-wife came over.
Yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
also, fucking.
But you know what? He didn't want to be responsible too. So it's like he kept playing this dilemma, saying, "I just like the guy from the restaurant dude or whatever. I felt responsible for him. Just like when he was talking to Charlie, he's like,
Right.
no, I don't. It's like I'm not directly responsible. But I feel like I am responsible. And then when he says like, well, I can just yell up, it's like, yeah, and get her killed. You know what I mean?
Right,
I think
right.
he did not want to have that on his hands.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But fucking Sam gave him a shovel. Like that's a weapon.
Oh my god. Yeah, but think about it too. He's chained up, right? He would have hit Sam. If you didn't hit Sam the right
You
way.
gotta make sure you hit the first hit.
would
You gotta
have
make
to
sure you
knock
don't.
him. Yes.
Yeah, you gotta make sure it's clean, not just like a
Yes.
little hit.
Like
It got to be hard
Ow,
enough
yeah,
and at the right angle so you knock him out, because now he's out of reach or whatnot. Oh yeah, he could like, and you changed like you said.
Looking back on it, I'd rather use a shovel than a fucking sharpened fucking like ointment fucking packet. Like
Well,
that
I don't
was,
think he was thinking about doing that at the time. Like at the time, he was just like didn't have, you know what I mean? He did not know what to do without trying to get himself killed. And I think at the time he thought he could talk his way out of it. You know what I mean? Like basically saying like, oh yeah, you can book a session. Like I can't do it like this, but you get me out of here. Yeah. I'll make sure you were number one on my
I
list.
thought that was a bit much, and also showed how much control Sam knew he had over him. Like that the fact and to the psychological thing, like they tell you about the dog, like you put the dog in a chain and they can't go so far, and you take the chain off, the dog still won't move. Like I thought they were gonna do that to Alan at some point, to be like, you're not going, like you're I'm imprisoning your mind, like you think you can't leave, and therefore he just stuck there. I thought they were gonna do something like that. I thought that would have been that would have been kind of interesting.
Can somebody tell me what was the point of him finding his guidance counselor from like junior high or something and wanting to go to him? What was the point in that? Because that went nowhere.
Because apparently I think what they were trying to do was to show that the guide counselor was the first one to see what was going on with them.
That something was
Right.
wrong with him.
Because he was trying to stop, and he was like, well, damn, if this guy was one of the first people to actually see this inside of me, maybe he's the one that could stop, seeing how this other guy, it ain't working. But this guy who saw from since I was a kid, it might work with him. I think that's what he was thinking.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know
he was
what I
thinking.
But when I
Is
think
that guy supposed to come over to his house now that he's chained
Oh,
up?
he was going over there. Remember, he made the
he was
Yeah,
gonna
but
go,
I'm saying now that he's killed Steve Carell, what?
yeah.
Well, he chained up. He's a little. he gonna miss that appointment. He gonna miss that appointment. He gonna miss that the next appointment with his ex-wife that he's supposed to be meeting once a year.
Unless he makes Claudia go get him.
To be like, Mom,
I know, right?
Mom,
go get the
Mom,
psychiatrist.
can you? It's like my foot's still tied up. Oh, yo, let me talk about random scenes. The one where he was on like, was it Brazzers or Bang Bros on the little porn thing or whatever?
Yeah.
Why was it? Because the first thing it showed like the stepmother thing. I was thinking like, is this man fantasizing about his mother? I really thought that's the angle they were going to do. And then this dude, but they're going to have to do typing like big tits. And I was like, and I was just like, what was this?
What's the point of this? What's the point?
I was like, I thought maybe his next victim was going to have them or something. And I was like, no. As I was like, I guess it just shows he really is straight. I guess they were just saying in case y'all, like, no.
To me, that was like, I don't get that. I didn't get that part. It was like unnecessary. Like, why?
I was waiting for Steve Carell to hear him in the next room. And he was like,
no. He's like, thank you, mommy.
He's like, that's why I said, oh, you're doing it with Kenny Chesney in the background. Oh no,
that never really.
I do like the songs though. The Kenny Chesney songs, they had a lot of.
I thought he was gonna pop up in a dream or something. Like he was gonna dream, and then Kenny Chesney's right there, and he's like, "You should not kill. If you're a fan of mine, you should not kill."
I'm watching American.
He was talking about all the concerts he went to. I thought we was gonna see him go and kill somebody at a concert or something.
Yeah.
And he takes the songs literally. Like he literally listens to them for everything that they say, and he like that makes him feel good. And I was like, it's a song, dude, but okay. But it soothes the beast. That's good, right?
Yeah. So Steve Carell doesn't do it for me. I think I'm skipping it honestly. I understand Steve Carell should stay with comedy, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. To your point, when he was doing a lot of dramatic stuff, there were times that I felt myself wanting to laugh because like I'm used to seeing him as a comedy, kind of to me like Eddie Murphy. I've seen him as a comedian for so long that when he tries to be dramatic, it's hard for me to accept it. But I thought Steve Carell did a pretty good job in this for that. I thought the ending was
you said that with Fargo with Chris Rock. You were like, it's like I'm sorry, I can't take him seriously.
I can't.
But Fargo was terrible, and Chris Rock was bad in it.
I was like,
I disagree. I strongly disagree with that.
Terrible. And when he did the Saw movie,
yeah,
I couldn't even.
Well, that movie. That wasn't even Chris Rock. That movie was just shit. Okay, even Samuel Jackson couldn't say that movie.
No, he wrote it.
Oh, Rock wrote that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a
he must have been. I don't know. He probably like had a premonition of Will Smith slapping him, and he just wrote something real bad. I don't know. That was like he should have got slapped for that. That's where Will Smith should have slapped him when he made Jigsaw. Will Smith and everyone would have been good. Will Smith wouldn't have had no band. Everyone would be like, that was right. That was right. That was.
I like to say I thought this ending. So when Alan was like, "Mom, this is your fault. You didn't protect him." I thought he was going to make the conclusion, or she was going to tell him, "That's why I'm protecting him now." Like I could turn him into the cops, but I'm protecting him now because I didn't do it then. Because at some point you have to see it as that. Like she clearly could call the cops at any point, but she's like, "I'd rather him murder, but I can't send him to jail because he's my son." So I thought. But
what does she do when she becomes old? Like she's literally old now, right? So as the years go on, she's eventually not going to be able to take care of Sam.
She's gonna have to either let him free or.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you, he's only going to stay locked up for 2 days before he like grabs her and it's like, "Mom, you better. Where's the key?"
Yeah, I mean, it won't. I mean, you don't have to grab her. He just says, "Mom, unlock me," and she'll be like, "Okay." I mean, she ain't fighting nothing. But I thought the note was going to be found and that the cops were actually going to come.
Let me tell you what I did feel emotion on that part. When Steve Carell, when Sam came back and told Steve Carell that he didn't go through with the plan, I was let down. I was like, Steve Carell's face, it was all over his face. And I felt it. I said, you know what? All his hopes are gone. Just vanished. Yeah.
I thought Steve Carell was gonna get the upper hand on Sam and kill him and be done with it. I thought the cops were gonna come because they found the note. Yeah. So I thought the ending was creative. Like I did not see him dying, and then I see the fucking Steve Carell dying, and then on top of that, this fucker to be like, now I must change. It looks stupid. I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm saying it was creative, right? Like him to be like, I now changed myself. Show me another movie that did that.
Oh, there's not a lot of movies that just did patient stuff, but it was predictable. I mean, I kind of saw that from after the first episode. I'm like,
Actually, I didn't see him chaining himself. I actually saw him.
You didn't see him chain. Him chaining himself. Well, no, not chaining himself, but you see that with like even just like hell, like werewolf movies alone, and that's a different genre completely.
That's a whole
like just more like.
Yeah, but I saw him I saw him meeting up with that psychiatrist, saying and tricking him into coming back to his house or knocking him out or something, right? Giving him something in water or something, and then having him replace Alan as the psychiatrist.
I just saw Steve. I mean, I don't know. Well, at least I guess it's just me then, because at the first episode, I'm like, Steve Carell is not only going to live through this, but somehow Steve Carell's going to have his resolve. Like, and sure enough, it did exactly all of that I thought. You know what I mean?
So
I knew he was gonna die.
So I mean, I 9 times out of 10, the serial killer dies. You know, either by cop, by victim or whatever. Like 9 times out of 10. So and then or they get away to continue to murder or whatever. So I was like, okay, and I thought that was good. So I thought that was creative. It's not realistic. Like, does Mama work? Because if Sam doesn't go to work, there ain't gonna be any more money. Like so I'm like, there's no realism whatsoever, huh?
Unemployment checks, maybe.
I mean, but we never established where her money comes from. Like, is she depending on Sam to keep everything going? Which means this whole cuff me to the bed bullshit ain't gonna work. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
You know what? I didn't even think about that part of it. I didn't even think about that part. I'm already thinking, she's gonna get old and she won't be able to do. What about the money? Like, she makes good money as an inspector, right? So,
well, that's more money, which is nothing, which is what she makes, because she's always there.
Yeah,
she's always there. So, what do? Does she work from home? Does she?
I guess now she'd be probably get a job over at at the commissary now, like back in groceries. Now it's like, damn, since I'm going now, I'll be the sole breadwinner here. Or maybe I'll make up with your ex-father, bring him in here. You did try to kill him, but. Looks like y'all okay to coexist.
Oh, and then what about that? What's the fallout for choking your dad?
Nothing.
I don't think there's nothing. As a guy, knowing if I knew that, if I beat the living shit out of my son, and I know I was like, you know what, I deserve that. Similar to Righteous Gemstones, like in the towards the end of Righteous Gemstones with Baby Bob, whatever his name is, where like when Macaulay Culkin like clocked him or whatever, he's like. Yeah, I deserve that shit. When Macaulay Culkin just knocked the shit out of him, he was like, "Yep, I totally got understood."
I never saw Spiral. I was wondering why nobody was talking about it. We did a review. I thought the beginning of the movie was something. The idea of like he was a cop going undercover and like trying to break that like the heist ring. Like, I thought the first 10 minutes could have been a great movie. And then the stupid ass horror movie.
Samuel Jackson part killed it.
Yeah, everything. The whole horror story was ridiculous and predictable as fuck. But I thought the first few minutes was interesting. I thought.
Yeah.
My thing is I think that he might have changed himself up because he knew what his life was going to be like after that particular day. And I'm like, he didn't want to. He killed his boss. He didn't want to be the boss. And he heard the way that his boss was talking down to him, because he wasn't talking down to him in the sense of, you can't do my job. Is that, do you know what comes with having this job? Like, there are going to be a lot of people from higher up making you compromise and expedite stuff, and it's not as cut and dry, good and bad as you think it is.
Well, I don't think he was in line for a promotion, man. I mean,
the way his boss kept talking him up and everything like that, it was like if his boss was out of the picture, the way his boss had already been talking him up, he would be the likely next in line. Because he kept saying,
I don't think that's why he killed him.
Yeah, I hate that you kept
reading that. He
killed him because of the way he talked to him.
How he talked to him,
his whole thing. Anybody that talks down to him reminds him of his father, the way his father treated him. So that's why he actually killed him.
Yeah, but when he was choking him, he was saying, I hate the fact that you kept reading that letter, like and that was talking him up in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if some that could be something. I see your point. Like he was just letting him know all the things he didn't like about him. But I don't think I agree. I don't think one of the factors was that he didn't want to be that's not why he didn't go on. That's why he changed himself, because he didn't want to go back to work to be the boss. Like I don't know about I don't know about that.
No, I
Don't-
think
saying
so that
I'm
was
not saying
that.
it's the only factor. I'm saying it was just a contributing part. Like, you know,
it could be.
I mean, it could be because we don't really know because it doesn't really give you a lot of information on that. So
The whole
People
job
work-
should have been shouldn't even been involved in the movie in the first fucking place. Like it went.
I
it
know,
went
right?
nowhere.
I mean, now I got questions about that, but like, you don't show up to work. They're going. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to go to his house.
Bro, I'd be
That's
like,
what they do
hey,
for a wellness check, right? And then mama's gonna open the door. I don't know where Sam is. Bitch, you gotta know
Oh,
where
sure.
Sam
I
is.
guess
He
you
lives
could
with
just
you.
do that. Yeah,
Well,
I guess you could just be like, he hasn't been here, and then I guess he'd be a like a John Doe disappearance or
the
something.
truck is there.
Yeah,
Truck is there.
The truck is there. So
Truck is
you
there.
could move it in the back because that's how Hollywood goes. You move in the back.
no
The
one
investigators
can
don't
see
know
it.
that. Where's
No one
it
can
at?
see. I'm like
Where's
the
it?
truck. The truck is there. I did like he was wearing gloves. I did like that because I was thinking like motherfucker, like you got DNA or some shit. I'm like, so I felt like the Dexter thing. I was like, at least he's smart enough to put on some gloves.
But in the age we live in, you mean to tell me that there's no camera back there?
No, you and Chris are right. Like it made
That's
no sense that he would
ridiculous.
kill this dude right there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And then, again,
And
he
there was
just-
a spotlight right there. I don't know. Yeah, there was a light right there.
and then you just change your MO like it ain't shit. Like usually killers are like, this is my ritual. I have
Yeah.
to do it like this because the ritual itself means something, right? For him just to be like willy-nilly, I'm just gonna bury old boy in my fucking house. Like I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like I'm like, how did mom's gonna be okay with that? Like
When the smell happens, she's not gonna be okay with it because
Yeah, I was-
coming. There was no lie that was placed upon this dead body, so that's gonna be a problem.
They're gonna need Marvin to come through with a hazmat.
I'm about to say,
and like Febreze a giant.
If it
like,
was the
like,
project,
he's like,
he'd be
oh, it's
alright.
not in your wall. Oh, that's there. Oh, on the floor. Good idea. I gotta tell my sister about this. You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah, we gotta wrap this shit up. Giovanni, anything else?
Yeah, I think it was good. I just think that I need to have learned a little bit. I should have known a little bit more about Jewish culture or something before going into it. Like it was very much of I guess you'd say a culture shock. I guess you'd say of trying to catch up with what they were, because I'm like, a lot of stuff was very inside knowledge, so to say, because it was like, he's calling Orthodox Jews a cult, and I didn't, I just thought it was a different sect. I didn't know that Jewish people really looked at them as like a cult, so to say. So it was, a lot of different aspects going on that you needed to kind of have had knowledge of going into it beforehand, so to say.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's like Kanye should have watched this show as well, I guess. Yeah.
I was like,
sorry, go ahead, Jamal.
That might backfire in the inverse. That might have made his rants even worse.
He's like, I told you,
right?
I told
You're
you,
right.
They control everything.
I told you. It's like they can't even have no cupcakes, nothing, no guitar, nothing.
It's like it got very into culture. Like whatever culture, maybe this is a lot of culture. I was like, and then like you said, Giovanni, a lot of things they assume that you already knew, and I'm like, I don't. What are you talking about? Like, why is this
coming from the David Alan Grier perspective of like, I guess that's why they chose that character. He didn't go to a Jewish therapist. He went to somebody who knows nothing about his culture, and he's like, explain it to me. Why does this have significance? Why, like, that was how the audience pretty much was able to understand more of it, because he didn't go to like somebody who already knew the culture,
like his son did,
right?
Totally. You know what I'm saying? Like he went to a friend, but also someone he had to explain all that shit to.
Right.
Yeah. But I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's universal, though. I mean, sure. I mean, like the Jewish culture it's a set, but at the same time, I guess he's like, look, I just can't talk to my son, and we are in the like same culture, except he's in a different, like, you know what I mean? It's just, I guess, I don't know. I guess he and that instance, it could have worked for him. I don't know. But like you said, he just died, which I don't know. How did he die? Was he maybe one of the victims of the John?
Right. I mean, when did he die? How did he die?
Wouldn't that be something if like he was like going through all those wallets and we saw David Alan Grier's IG or something?
That would be. That
Yeah.
would
That
be.
would be insane, bro.
That would
Sorry.
that would have made
my bad, Jamani. Go ahead.
Good.
I don't. I thought he died of like. I thought he got sick and died. I thought that's what
Yeah.
they said.
Probably. It would just been better if they just
We
killed
don't
him.
know.
They could've gave us more
No,
of a
I'm saying
background.
I thought the only reason we know he died is because Steve Carell said
Because
it
he
in
said
one
it,
of the episodes. He said something about him dying, and I
Yeah.
thought it was like cancer or he got sick or something. That's why.
Yeah, he said it too.
And then he said the second time he's like I'm alive. He's like jealous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we don't know how he died. Just the fact that he is
No.
dead. Yeah, they
Right.
just want to know that he was all in his head. You know, saying that
Yeah,
it was all in his head. Yeah.
which anybody would go into. Like if you're in that situation, you're gonna go in your head.
Yeah.
To keep to keep yourself sane, you might have to go in your head, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
so my-
good.
And I thought it was hilarious. The most probably hilarious thing in the series was Sam trying to do the retelling of that joke and
Oh,
butchering
yeah.
a lot of it.
Terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that
And he's Jewish. You gotta know he's Jewish. And he's like yeah. He's like shoot me. He's like yeah. No, old age. I want to die by old age. It's like
All of that shit. That's where I woke up. I fell asleep watching that episode, and then I woke up hearing the joke, and I was
it
like,
was that bad. It woke you up. The joke
I was
was
so
that bad.
tired. I was so tired. The shit was so boring that I was like, I gotta take a nap before I get
Yeah.
these fucking videos. And I was like, I didn't miss anything. I'm like, God damn,
Yeah.
the show's still going. I was like, where's the end? Get to the end.
that's
And
me. That's how I was. I was like, yeah, come on.
just-
I wanted to fast
Damn.
forward, but I couldn't.
I was like, I wish I could. Chris, anything else?
Yeah, FX continue to do like different some different content. Even though I mean again, this was kind of predictable, but at least the content that's being brought forward is something you don't always see or whatever. You know what I mean? I think the problem part of the problem which we didn't address is this is kind of also coming off the heels of like the Dahmer show too. So it's like it was hard for me to not try to be like, Dahmer did it better. Dahmer was a better killer, way much better killer than you were, bro. Like you over here effing up, bro. And you got a mind of for someone who's living in 2022. You know what I mean? But anyway, sorry. But overall, I say good job to both Gleason, good job to Carell. Like you said, everyone, even the kid from Major Payne, you know, aka Ezra. It's so hard to see the fact like he's always like, yeah, that's what Major Payne said to do, yeah. And then just seeing him playing like this kid who's beefing with his father. I was like,
Wow,
damn, okay, that's different.
You're
Yeah,
good.
that's him.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yep. It's so weird. Yeah. I was just like, look, it bothered me. I was like, that's the little yeller, right? The dude who's just yelling his. I was like, yeah, they need to do a reunion. By the way, I don't know about Orlando though. Anyway, so overall, I thought it was a good show. FX, keep it up. Maybe don't have the stuff just kind of drag out like this. So yeah, that's it.
Kim, thank you. Kim.
Yeah, I just don't make shows that drag. Don't do that. Like make it if you can make it 4 episodes. Like I always say this, the British people know how to do it. Like they make shows, especially procedurals. Like they are the top people for a procedural, right? But even this kind of show, I could see it going 6 episodes if it was British, and you would have gotten all the information, you know, and it would have had a great ending. Not spectacular, but a great ending. They just know how to story. Their storytelling is just better organized than ours. For some reason, I don't know what it is. But and then their series, like if you watch a series with them, 4 episodes is the entire series, right?
Yeah.
That's it. It's over. So yeah, they're just better at it. But other than that,
You gotta wait another year for Luther. I was like, damn.
Yeah. But Luther gave you all of it though. Like when you watch
Somehow
Luther from the beginning,
they got through it.
They got through it.
Yeah.
And it's so I think they just do it better. So I'm hoping that maybe some people learn from FX and they actually listen to the reviews, you know, people who are in charge of it, right? Listen to what the feedback that people are giving so that you can do better, you know? Because again, Steve Carell is a great actor. I don't mind him going from comedy to drama because he has to stretch. He has to, You use that muscle. He's learning every day, right? To drama and comedy. There's nothing wrong with that. I think when Chris Rock it gets a good script, he knows how to do it, right? But sometimes if you write your own stuff, you don't know what you're doing. So you need to stop that. But anyway, I did like it, but like I said, the ending was, and getting us to the ending was just a lot. But other than that, I think it was very well acted. Very well acted. So.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. Again, great movie idea. Not a good TV show idea. At least not with the execution. Not with the execution. Hour and a half, maybe 2 hour movie. With the material given to us, and then we could have did something. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thank you guys very much for watching and commenting and stuff. Thank you for joining the channel. We're doing pretty well on all these fronts. This weekend is Sunday, so this weekend we got Interview with the Vampire will be added to the rotation. We are going to do Reasonable Doubt. Nigga what, nigga who will be the title of the episode. We shall shit on that. At least I will. We're gonna do Let the Right One In. We got that. And we will look at some other things. Should we do Gangs of Harlem now? Gangs of London now, excuse me. Season 1 review. You want to wait until we get closer to the start date of season 2? What y'all think?
I'm still the first half of it, so
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
You haven't?
I haven't rewatched it.
Oh, Kim, I thought you you haven't seen the first season already?
I saw it, but I haven't.
Oh, you got to
Yeah,
rewatch.
I'm gonna rewatch it too. I'm gonna
Yeah.
rewatch it too because it's a
Okay.
lot, and I want Terry to see it. So
It's
so
good.
Oh,
It's
Terry
good,
hasn't seen it?
definitely.
Nah.
It's a good
So
show.
yeah, so we'll do that. Or maybe we just have a short weekend. It's fine. I mean, we don't have the fill up stuff. We'll
I don't
find
understand why we can't do The Watcher.
That's what
Because you can shit on it.
Well, I'll do the watch if y'all do. If y'all want to do the watch, I'll do the watch.
All right. So we will
Thanks,
do the watch.
Chris.
We'll do the watch. All right. So I'm watching shit.
When, how many episodes is this bullshit again?
7 episodes.
It's
Damn
7.
it!
It's just an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be surprised by episode 4 and it's like an hour and 40 minutes or something.
No, there's no episode that's even an hour. It's like
It's
All right.
43. Isn't it like 43, Jamani? Like 43?
yeah, like there's like I don't think there's an episode that goes over like 55 minutes. It's like
Yeah.
Since we didn't get our Halloween thing in, you know what I mean? So
Sorry.
that would be a Halloween-esque
Yes.
thing. Well, I guess Let the Right One In. Well,
Come on, man.
No.
Well,
dang it.
all right.
Danny.
So we put the watch on the list of anything you guys want us to review. Put right down in the comments. I know Spill T keeps on talking about The Missing, which I think is a movie. I need to.
It's a movie. It's a movie. It's
All
a
right,
movie with the chick that's in Family Business. That's Harris's girlfriend. The one that's his oldest child's mother. She's in it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Oh, I got you. All right. I got you. All right. So is it good? Have you seen it?
I haven't watched it, but it's a trope, right? The woman gets abused. She had a baby.
Oh, that's right.
She runs away because the husband's, beating her and all that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That kidnaps the son. The child gets kidnapped, right? That's why it's missing.
I don't know if I don't think it gets kidnapped. I know she runs away with it. She
Oh,
runs
okay.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. In this, when he killed the boss, like Alan was trying to make him say like person, like refer to it like the body as a person. He kept on saying it, and I thought that was important to be like I don't see him or her him as a person. Like he kept on saying it, and I thought Alan should have picked up on that to be like he's still like objectifying his victims. Like he's not humanizing his victims. Like it's just an object to get from point A to point B.
He has to do it that way because if he looks at him as a person, he can't kill him.
Yeah, and I thought that was something in the part of the thing. Anyway, thank you guys. Again, we'll talk about stuff in the chats and make fun, do silly things. Have a great week, everyone.
Everybody have a
I
great
will
week.
see you in the texts.
Happy Halloween.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween tomorrow. Don't do no crazy stuff. Don't celebrate the devil. My mom used to be like that. We don't celebrate the devil.
I'm watching The Burbs. That's my go-to every single Halloween. I gotta watch.
No Hocus Pocus. No Hocus.
I already
Pocus?
watched that.
Okay.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
I was like, nah, I didn't watch the first one, so I'm okay.
Oh,
with that.
I watched both of them back to back. I watched the first one and the second one, and I was happy.
Yeah.
The second one was good.
The second one was good. Yeah.
It was good.
Actually, the second one was better than the first one.
Wow.
I can understand why you said
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
There was a lot of good stuff in this.
Yes.
You're okay.
Yes.
I understand.
It was
Okay.
better put together, I would say.
I'm not mad that you said that. I had to think about that for a second. Okay. Yeah.
It's worth
Yeah,
watching.
they spent some
If you
time
like
on
the
this
first one, you'll like the second one.
Yeah. Oh, I do agree with that. So
Yeah, not on this channel. Well, all right, guys. Thank you guys very much.
hater.
You know what?
We
We
have
should
new
start
background.
doing and I know this is your channel. It's just a suggestion. I promise you.
What's up? What's up?
Like movies that like older movies that we hate or that we love, right? You know what I'm saying?
I get you. So,
and we can
like
vote on it, like right? Like you give us the movies that you feel, right?
All right.
Then Stacy and then Jamai, all of us give our ideas, and then David, you're the one who makes the final decision on what it should be. Either it's a good movie or a bad movie, whatever it is.
I picked the movie, whether it's good or bad, as a group decision. But whether or not we discussed it, I see your point. I like, especially in the lull periods, like if we feel like we ain't got a lot of stuff to do and we just want to do something to get together, that's a good thing. I like that. Let's do that. And so everybody pick a movie. I put in the text so everybody gets equal
old
shot.
movie.
Yeah, well, just a movie. I mean, so older is relative.
Do you
right?
want it to be bad, a movie that we think sucks, or a movie that we think is good, or
like classics and classical bad ones.
Yeah, I feel like Snakes on the Plane. I watched that shit because I was like, damn it. I just wanted to hear to say I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on these motherfucking planes. I was like, it took the whole movie for me to get to that scene. So I like the idea. So let's put at least everybody pick a movie, and then like we'll put in the chat, and then we'll talk about it. And like I said, we can fill in the gaps until we got stuff coming in. Thank you, Kim. It's good.
It was more Chris when Chris was talking. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Because like higher learning is awesome. Like 7 is awesome. Like this movie, I'm like,
no, 7 is the perfect movie.
Like 7, especially
that is phenomenal. That's a
what's in the box.
We should do 7 because then I know we compared it to the Batman, which basically was 7. But like if you can,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's find, we can find those old movies that we can tie to the new movie, right? Like then, like that would be something if it's something like that. And I think at least for me, 7 would be a good place to start because that's what the Batman was. I mean, really. Anyway, put it in there. We'll figure it out. All right, guys.
Bye.